everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We are your source for news and entertainment. You can also find us on television. I didn't tell this beautiful lady, Mary, about this, but she's on television right now, channel 182, and that's North
Okay.
Alabama on Charter Communications. And worldwide, we're on Abundant TV, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. So I've got a very special guest with me right now. Her name is Mary Burke. Hey, Mary, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I've heard all kinds of great things about your music, and we're playing your music here at the station.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And let me mention something else to you. Every time that when you guys are on the station, and I wanted to thank Paula for bringing you in, and every time we have on Fridays, it's called the 25 most requested music songs. And every time we have somebody on the show, they get up in that top 25. So we're going to be
Oh,
talking
good.
about your music. And let me tell folks how you can vote. Okay, it's really easy. All you have to do is download the apps, or you can just go to the website, icradio.media. And just download that, and then you can request a song. And what you can do is just type Mary's name in, Mary Burke, and then you'll be
Yeah.
able to get a list of the songs that she has on our at our station. And then just click on that song, and you can only do two per hour now. Okay, so do two per hour, and then request the music you would like to hear us play. And I'll tell you what, it makes my job a lot easier, Mary. One of our listeners got in contact with me one day, and she said, "Oh, you've got so much to do. I don't want to add to it." And I said, "No, really, you're lightening our load. That's one less
Good.
thing we're going to have to type in. So you're doing it for us." But thank you, Mary, for being on the
Awesome.
show. Where are you calling? Where are you coming in from?
Andersonville, Tennessee. It's about 30 miles northeast of Knoxville.
Oh, okay. So you're out in the
Yeah.
country.
I'm out in the country here. Yes, I am. I'm in my sunroom, and so I'm just told everybody to kind of let me do my thing out here for a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your music. We love playing it here. So let's talk about
Thank
what
you.
style is your music?
It's been noted it's been recognized as Christian country. So,
Mhm. Yeah, I
yeah,
love
Christian
Christian.
country.
How long have you been singing?
Oh gosh, I probably was singing in the womb. I guess I came out singing, so all my life, my whole life.
Are you also a songwriter?
I am a little. I usually get an inspiration. I get an idea. Now, when I was in my early and late 20s, I did write music, write songs. But as I've gotten a little older, I usually just get an idea now. And so I wouldn't say that I'm like a really good songwriter. I love to sing, and sing for the Lord is my calling. So I mean, I can sing anything, but I don't like to sing anything. I only like to sing, like Christian stuff.
Hmm.
And but I mean, I can write. I like to have someone write with me. It helps, like a
Hmm.
writing session.
Yeah, that way you
And
can
I
bounce ideas off of each other too.
my new album that will be coming out, I'm hoping maybe late this year, if not early next year. It was supposed to have already been out, but I wrote a song with Shane Roark, and it's called My Portion for Today. And it was an idea that I had from the Lord that the Lord gave me. And I can tell you a little bit about that later if you want. But that song is, to me, I love it because he helped me. He really wrote most of it, like the actual writing of the song. I came up with the idea and he just sat down with it. And Autumn Isabel, she was on there as well as a writer. She helped us write that as well. So, but I'd say Shane really hammered down and got that thing wrote.
Hmm.
He's a writer.
That's awesome how you can come up with an idea like that. I admire songwriters. How
Yeah.
you can come up with an idea like that, you can bounce it around off of a few people, and you can it's like you're birthing it. And so
Yeah.
it happens. But how do you get that? Do you actually come up with the music part or just the words?
This one, in particular, I came up with the idea. The Lord gave me something on my heart, and then I did actually come with some of the words and the melody of it. And but then Shane changed all that up. He did a little bit of that, but he rearranged it, and. But I did have some of it. Me and Autumn actually had some of it. She came up with quite a bit too, actually, me and her. And she helped me a lot. And we had a pretty good idea. But once he got a hold of it, I mean, he was like, "Can I change this? Can I do this?" I was like, "Go for it." He had it. I mean, he knew what he was doing.
I'm
So
glad to
he,
hear you say that You know,
Yeah.
a lot of songwriters don't, they want it to be all them and but no one else has input. But I've had ideas before too, you know, about the
Yeah.
station or whatever. And I like to bounce it off of my friends and get their intake on it, you know,
Yeah.
and like, and then they usually wind up making it even more so than my, but it was my idea. But
That's
good
right.
friends helped me make it blossom.
You need that. I mean, you need people, people need people. And sometimes, I mean, I know two heads are better than one, and three are better than two. So I know in the Bible it speaks of two or three or more when we're gathered in his name, he's in the midst. And I know that he is in the midst, even if it's just one person, but the more you have, a lot of times you'll get something really good,
Mhm.
So I really, and especially somebody that knows, like, people like that are known for writing songs and have done great songs. I mean, anybody can write and put words on a paper and you can get an idea and it can be an inspiration from the Lord. But there is a technique to writing, and some people really know how to hone in on that technique. Some people have done it for years, and some people don't know how exactly. Like myself, I mean, I can write a song, but I don't think it's a number one or a great song. I think it's just a song that the Lord gave me and it's beautiful, but it may not be number one. I think I could maybe sing another number one song from someone else writing it. That's my opinion.
Oh, you never know,
But
Mary. You never know when it's just going to hit
oh
the right person at the right time. It's even like talking to a friend. And
yeah,
sometimes maybe a friend is hurting and you don't even know they are, but somehow you say something that kind of helps bring that friend out of it. And that's what I
that's
think
right.
songwriting
Absolutely.
is all about.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
So let's talk
Yes.
about that. Let's talk about this song. What's some of the words?
Okay. Well, the song, the inspiration, the reason I came up with that is we were in we were in Michigan, and my youngest, Dawson, he's my baby. He's 17 now. He um he loves to go to Cedar Point, and the last time we had been there, he was too small to ride the big rides. And so I finally got him back there, but every day that we were there, it was raining and thundering. And this last day, it was like, okay, I don't care what the weather is. He's got to go. Cousins were in town and everything. We were all there. And so it was, of course, thundering and lightning and raining. And several of the cousins and their parents backed out and said, it's too stormy, Mary. We're not going to do this. And I got in the elevator. I said, Lord, I'm trying so hard to take my baby. I want him to know that mom tried her best. And the Lord spoke to my heart and said, Mary, take your son. I will give you your portion of sunshine. And he just spoke that just as clear as I'm speaking to you to my heart. And I said, okay. And I got so excited. I called everybody. Everybody else still said, sorry, we're not going. They said, Mary, you're crazy. And one cousin said, I'll go. And I was like, okay, we got one. And so our family and that little young cousin, Gabriel, he went with us. And so that's where the inspiration came from. We did have 5 hours of sunshine. And my Dawson got to ride several of the big roller coasters. He loved it. And we just had a wonderful day. And this was actually during the COVID. We had to wear a mask and everything. It was
Uh,
2020, I think,
uh,
and outside in the heat, but he still enjoyed riding those rides. And so that's where the song came from. And it talks about, oh goodness, I could sing some of it for you.
yeah,
Let me see
sing
if I
it.
could, I'll see if I can get into it. Let's see. Today is filled with trials and temptations. They always seem to make their way to me. And oftentimes I feel my prayers aren't answered. Although I know that God's always with me, some days solutions seem to be outnumbered by problems I just cannot understand. And just when I have nearly reached the bottom, the answer comes with one touch of his hand. He is my portion for today, my sunshine in the rain, my everlasting peace in troubled times. Through my doubts and fears, I always feel him near. He wraps me up in loving arms so tight. When the burdens of this life have left me empty, I'm reminded he's my portion for today. And then the bridge, but I won't sing that part. I'll let you get it later.
Well, it sounds really good. I like it.
I love it, and it's trying to hold the phone and sing and getting into it. I usually sing with heart and soul.
Well, I think you did an awesome job, and I really do
Thank
like
you.
it. And I can see why that song can fit a lot of people because we're in kind of a strange world right now. Mary is just a
That's right.
little different, and
Yeah,
a lot of things brought this to be, COVID being one of them.
that's right. And with my portion, you know, Jesus is our portion, and my portion is not your portion, but I want mine. I want what's Mary's, and I really am in a season of that, and I said, Lord, you're my portion, no matter what, sunshine, rain, it doesn't matter. But Lord, you're going to give me what I need for each day to sustain me, and you're going to meet me right where I'm at. It's like there's a song, it talks about honey in the rock, water in the
Mhm.
stone, manna on the ground. And I really love that song because no matter where we are, if we are depending on the Lord, he is our source. He is our portion. He is our provider, and He will sustain us. I mean, He will literally provide honey out of the rock. You know what I mean? Water in the stone. He's going to take care of us. But are we trusting Him? Are we trusting Him?
Mhm. Something you just said something. I just had our pastor with Cowboy Church, Don Hunton, was on the show right before you came in. A little bit late getting to you because of him.
I've
And
never been
so,
there yet, and I want to go to Cowboy Church.
you'd love it. I mean,
I would
this
love
is
it.
where we go. And
I
so
want to
he was
go.
talking. Yeah, you got to come to Alabama, and why don't you go to ours? And we got them all over
Yeah,
Alabama, and they're all over Texas. They're all over the place. Um,
yeah.
and I think there are some also in Tennessee. I'm pretty sure of it.
Well, I
Um,
need to do it. Yeah, I need to go
yeah,
to
you'd
one
really
of
have a
them.
good time, and they would love your voice. They would
Good.
love it. So he was talking about we're talking about tithing, and they do
Yeah,
things a little different there. And so instead of passing a plate, what they do is they have a box, and it's like looks kind of like a church. And so they have this box sitting at the back, and people just at their own they put the money in. And
yeah,
it could be. And I told them, I said there was a time in my life I would have probably put some quarters in because I wouldn't have had the money to put in. And I
yeah.
said, that way nobody has to hear my clanking of change as I'm putting it in there. So,
That's right.
and so, which is another awesome thing. But I said, how do you trust? Because a lot of people, it's just some kind of when you tithe, people say, well, I can't do without that 10%. But I say you can't do without not putting the 10% in there.
That's right.
Somehow your money, that 90% stretches much farther than if you kept that 100%.
Yes,
But it's
I
all in
agree.
trust. It's all in trust.
Yeah, that's right. It's trust in the Lord to supply and to do what he says in his word, and that's part of giving the 10%. And when you do those things, I mean, I can say that God has blessed me. I mean, there's been trials and tribulations, and over the last year is when we've really kind of had some rougher trials, and I'd like to say, but when you come out on the other side, and you see God's hand, and God Almighty is teaching us a lesson. There's lessons, and we are, as America, we are spoiled. We are, beyond, we don't even know what it's like to really go hungry,
Hmm.
and it's not going to hurt us if we have to miss a meal.
Hmm.
And God has definitely taught our family some things this last year, and He's molding us and making us. That's what He's doing.
I
He's a
think
good,
so
good
too.
God.
I think sometimes as a country, we got a little bit too big for our britches.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like, sometimes, I mean, I'm the type person I've got to be hit in the head before I ever get it. I mean, I'm one of those.
Hmm.
So
Oh, yeah.
sometimes I think as a country, the country's going to have to be hit in the head. What would you like to say to encourage folks? Because, COVID, I mean, really did a number on a lot of folks, and suicide rate went way up. And, and people even, trying to commit suicide, that went up as well. And for people who don't know Christ, they feel no hope. It's just like, oh my goodness, it's the end of the world as we know it. What would you like to
Yeah.
say to those folks?
I would just like to say that there is hope. There's hope in Jesus. There's hope in the Lord, and trusting in Him, and really not placing your hope in. Don't put your hope in people. You know, a lot of times we put our hope in so and so, and we know so and so did this, and we're believing they're going to do this, and they've been there for us for so long. But really, people fail. I don't care who you are. I'm going to fail you. You're going to fail me. Like last week, I couldn't get to the meeting. I had was driving. I didn't get home in time. Every one of us is going to fail, but God never fails. So to remember to place your hope in the one who does not fail, in the one whom you can trust, and he will never leave you nor forsake you. People are going to come and go. They're going to fail you. They're not only going to fail you, but they're going to have to leave you. I'm going to have to leave you one day. I'm going to die, but Jesus is never going to leave you nor forsake you. And he's a friend closer than your brother. So if you can hold on to that hope and realize that he's there for you no matter what, and if you lean on to him and his promises, I promise you, you will live better, and you will have more of a prosperous life, and you will have what you need to sustain you in this life if you do that, if you do that.
That sounds great. So, Mary, let's talk to folks again about things that can be causing depression.
Yeah.
My number one thing that I like to tell people to do is stop listening to the news. I mean, listen to it some. You got to know what's going on in the world, but don't keep it on 24/7. It's depressing. And I'm in the business. Yeah. I'm in the news business.
That's right.
And I don't even like to hear it. I just,
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think listening to the news and the negative and focusing on the good things and the positive, that's really who I am. That's what I'm about. And it can be hard though, because when you're around, things and it's all around you, it's hard. And some people don't have that mentality. They have more of a doom and gloom, and so I guess that's why some people like us are here, that we can try to be encouragement and try to give people hope and try to spread the good news instead of the bad news. So really, we have to be careful what we see, what our eyes see, what our ears hear, what our mouth speaks. We have to be careful of all of those, because when we allow stuff to get into us, that's where, we may not be able to produce the fruits that we need to be that light. So if we can get the good in us, read the word of God, worship the Lord, pray in the spirit, and do what the Bible says about having the full armor. I know for a fact when I do these things, I do much better. But when I start watching all this news and listening to all these people speaking negative, it just basically kills you,
Well, that's what the enemy tries to do. He tries to take away our spirit.
He does.
Yeah, but you know what? It didn't work. I've heard, a lot of folks did pass away, with COVID. But I've also heard lots of great things that happened. I think it was meant to be a reset, I think, but it may have backfired. I think it reset all right, but I think it helped a lot of us in the long run.
Yeah, it made me appreciate my mama. I almost lost her, and so I think in the year, she got sick in February, and she got better in April. She didn't come home till April. They wanted to vent her, but she refused. And so she just fought with the CPAP and the BiPAP,
Mm-hmm.
And I got to see her more than I've seen her in like 12, 13 years since we've been down south. Mm-hmm. And I went up there every week to encourage her. Even though we couldn't see her, we could see her through the glass. And we prayed and anointed it. And so I got to actually see her more than I've ever seen her since I've been down here, and I don't know, the Lord gave me more appreciation for my mom, and I thought I was going to lose her. So, oh man, that wasn't something I was ready to do yet, I said, Lord, please don't take my mama, So.
And I've heard a lot of cases where now there was a lot of abuse that went on. But then also there's a lot of families that got even closer together. Husbands and wives got a little closer.
Yeah. I mean, I can see like before, sometimes, I mean, I hate to admit it, but my mom would call and I'd be busy. But now if I'm busy, I pick it up. I try my best. And even just her breathing, anything she does, like her sighs or anything, it's like precious, like she almost she lost her breath. Her oxygen level was down to like 50 when we finally got a hold of her that night. She would have passed away. And so everything is precious, with her now. And you don't realize it until, you don't know until you don't have it anymore, or you think you're not going to.
I have friends who are working for corporate companies, and, they were under constant pressure, just stuff all the time. And they're still with the companies, but now they have the opportunity to work from their homes. Yeah. And so they're talking about, wow, I hated that COVID happened, but I get to work out of my home now. I'm at home with the kids, And when some of them have small kids, and man,
Yeah.
it's a hard thing for a mama to have to work when you got little kids because you don't get to
Oh
see
yeah.
them. And you hear the babysitter talk about your kid walked for the first time today. Ugh, that hurts. It really does. So now they're
Yes.
getting to be with their kids and their husbands and their families, and I think people are doing more family stuff now, like
Yeah. It
eating
seems like
together.
it. Yeah,
Eating
because we
together
were
is
all
just
stuck
really good.
together for a while. Everybody was stuck together. I know that's what God intended for us to get closer as a family, our family unit.
Hmm. I think
Ours
what
is
was
like that
meant,
too.
I really do. I believe what was meant to be our harm, and if we let it, and if you look at it the right way, I think it was really a good thing
Yeah, it
in the long
was. It
run.
happened for a reason, and God allowed it, right, for a reason. So,
Mhm. And again, sometimes our country, we got to go back to the basics. We
yes.
just have to. Absolutely. Now you
Yeah.
sing. Where all do you sing? You all over the country?
I sing wherever needed. I'm mostly in Tennessee because it's where I live right now. But I mean, I'll sing anywhere. I've sang in Alabama. I was in Alabama for the Alabama. Let's see, what's it called? Gospel. Let's see, what's it called? It's what Vonda puts on every year. And then I
Oh,
used to go to Creekside. I'll be in Alabama with Vonda this year, and then I'll be at Creekside. I do a couple of those. I don't do a lot. I do a few. I was able to go to the fanfare this year, but I wasn't there much. I was only able to sing once. Because we were supposed to be moving, but we ended up staying here. I guess God wants us here for a little while longer. And so we were just going to sell this and move somewhere else, in the area. But we ended up just staying here and staying put for a little while longer. But I'll go anywhere. I'm not a full time. I would love to be, but I haven't got to that point. But I know whenever God's ready, I will go full time. But I just go whenever, whenever I get bookings, I'll go.
hmm.
So
I think I saw you. I was actually there, Oxford, Alabama. That's my hometown.
Oxford, that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually where I went to school,
Yeah.
and so it's a good place. It really has grown a lot since the 1970s.
Southern Gospel Weekends. That's what it's called. Southern Gospel Weekends.
Hmm. Those are
Yeah,
those
that's
are
what they
good
call
things.
it.
You get to be around some of
Yes.
your folks and just learn from them. Now, do
I
you play
enjoy
any
it.
music? Do you play musical instruments?
I mean, I can, but I don't really want to do that a lot. I do that mostly in private, but I mean, I can, but I primarily just want to, sing when I'm out in the public, but I have done it a few times, but mostly no. I can do guitar and keyboard, but I'll just
Love
stick with,
guitar.
I'll just stick with singing when I'm, in public.
Hmm. Now, what do you do when you're not singing? You work for a company?
Well, I am three things. I have three jobs, three callings, I guess. What I get paid for is I'm a caretaker. I'm a caregiver. That's who I am. That's who Mary is. That's also my calling. And and then I also I like to drive. I'm another calling is these are things I'm anointed. I'm anointed to caregive. I'm anointed to drive. When I'm behind the wheel, I'm anointed. Okay. I don't know if anybody else out there anointed behind the wheel, but Mary is.
I'm
And
not. I don't know how you do.
when I'm driving, I speak in tongues. So yeah, I mean, it just depends on what's going on, on
I
the
speak
traffic.
too.
So,
Sometimes it's not nice.
and then I'm also anointed singer. So those are my three callings. Caregiving is the one that I do mostly. So yeah, but I'm more passionate about that. Mostly disabled. That's my heart disabilities. My husband, he's disabled, and I take care of him. That's my 100%. That's what I do. He was injured in 2007, a motorcycle accident, and so I've been taking care of him since we were 29, and we've been together since we were 15. So he's my calling, and he's my job. He's my life. And then we have three boys. They were hurt when Daddy was two. Well, when Daddy was they were 2, 4, and 7 when Daddy was hurt. Is what I meant to say. And me and Daddy were 29 when he got hurt. And he's still in a wheelchair. He still has speech, impediment. He has a severe brain injury, but he's doing much better. And if you follow me, you'll see him on a lot of my stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And our
that's
boys,
awesome.
our boys are 17, 19, and 22 now. So they're grown up. Yeah.
I think that's awesome what you're doing to be a
Yeah.
caregiver. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
that is
that's,
definitely a calling.
yeah, it is my calling. If something were to happen to David, I would continue to do caregiving, and it would mostly be with disabled. I mean, it's it's just my passion. You know, when I take David and do things like we went and did water ski event, and you see all the people, you know, that are doing that in the wheelchairs, and you know, it's you can I enjoy taking care of people, you know, and mostly people that can't take care of themselves. And then also the elderly would be a next, you know, my next choice. I love elderly people. Children, not so much. I'm not huge on baby. I like kids, yes, but I like the elderly and disabled. And I love animals, but I don't know that I'd ever do anything with, you know, I'd say that's just a hobby, you know.
So you wouldn't take
Yeah.
care of my pet dog or anything if I'm going on a trip?
I mean, I guess I would because I love animals. I would probably do that. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's a calling, but I know my callings now that I'm older, but animals are just my hobbies. I do love them though,
Hmm.
you know?
Oh, I do too.
Yeah.
But no, women multitask anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've always got something going on, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And but how do you take care of yourself? You got to take care of yourself too, right, Mary?
That's where I lack. Like just before this, I hate to say
If
it, but
there's any
I
time
couldn't. I
left.
was just singing Saturday. I put my mascara in the car and I was hurrying up to get myself a little bit of a face together and I couldn't find it. So I have no mascara right now. I don't know. And I have several. I just misplaced them. And that's where Mary doesn't take care of herself, you know. So I'm a caregiver, which means I take care of others and not so much, you know, I tried though. I do try,
Well,
you
you know,
know.
there's a Mary type and there's a Martha type.
Yeah.
I've always kind of thought of myself as probably the Martha type, you know, because I want to get
Yeah.
things done. I'm the one, you know, somebody passes away in the family or something, I'm organizing, getting food ready because I want to feed everybody. I'm one of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
And that's kind of my calling, I think.
That's
to,
awesome. Everybody has to
to
eat.
hear people. But then again, you got to save the biggest thing, and I know you do this because you've already mentioned it several times. The biggest thing is you got to have time for God.
Yes.
So
That's the time that I,
how do women do it? Because we wake up, we got to get breakfast started, we got to do. My case, I've got to get the weather and the traffic report going,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
but
yeah.
how do you do that? You know, because if you're not careful, you've got no time left. I mean, it's time to go to bed, and
Yeah.
you're conked out. How do you
Well,
work it?
it's true. And I have 24 hours I take care of my husband. So luckily I have three sons and right now they are right there with him. He's just in the next room actually, but you know, one of them is just started his full-time job at a firm, a structural engineer. He just graduated college. So he's here. They still live here at home. So that's nice, you know, at the moment. And then the other one's going full-time college. And when he's not at college or he's here. And then our other one's a senior. So, and he's homeschooled. So he's here always.
Mhm.
And so with the boys, you know, I can say, watch daddy for me for a few seconds, you know, or whatever. Because we do have to watch him because he was playing with the dog. We have a German Shepherd. And yesterday, actually, he was outside. I was doing the dishes. He was out the window. I could see him. He's in his chair, of course, and he's supposed to be throwing the ball, but our dog is so powerful. He starts to play stick with her. She pulls him over. He flips sideways in the wheelchair. And I started screaming, Daddy's fell out of the wheelchair. And everybody starts running to the door. And, you know, he's like, I'm like, are you okay? And he's like, I'm fine. And the dog, you know, was just being the German Shepherd she is, but she pulled him a little too hard and he fell over. But we were all watching, you know, he was okay, thankfully, you know.
Mary, I told you that 30 minutes would fly by. We've got half a minute left.
Well, yeah.
How can folks find your music?
They can find my music on anything Amazon. I guess Google probably has it. Let's see what else. iTunes has it, Spotify, you know, all the places that you find music, I am there. And I would love for you to request. I've had a lot of people, they've went to CD Baby and they've got my stuff. I'll get like email notifications. I got money in, you know, I got money in PayPal or whatever. And I always, if you do that, I will mail you a CD. You can also reach out to me on Messenger, anything, and I'll mail you a CD, okay? And I'd greatly appreciate it. Find me on Facebook, find me on YouTube, find me on TikTok. I do have that, and I do all good stuff. No bad stuff on TikTok. I don't do any dances. I sing for the Lord. My husband or my dog's on there. It's all clean.
Absolutely. And you can find her on IC Radio as well,
Praise
icradio.media.
God.
Mary,
Thank
thank you so
you.
much for being on the
Thank
show.
you, honey.
See you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye bye. Let's do it again
Bye.
soon.
Okay. Looking
Bye,
forward to
folks.
it.
We'll see you
Bye.
with the next